Hi, it's Jessie. Today I'm drinking some water because I was gonna make tea and I forgot. Okay, I am here finally with my review of the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. It took me a while to get to this. I finished this like a month ago, but life. Anyway, the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb takes place in the realm of the Elderling, which is a large series of books that all take place in the same world. Think of Discworld or Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, but honestly a lot less complicated. The Farseer trilogy is considered the first of these. It's the first chronologically in the story. It's a really good entrance point into the world from everything I understand, and it follows Fitz. Fitz is a young man. Well, at the start of the series, he's a very young boy who, until he was 6 years old, was raised by his mother and his maternal grandfather until they realized they could not afford to keep a child anymore. And so he gets dropped off at his father's doorstep, and his father just so happens to be the king in waiting. A lot of videos, reviews I've seen for the series say a lot more than that, but that's where I'm gonna cap it because I think it's enough to get people intrigued without giving too much away. Obviously, title of the first book, Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, Assassin's Quest. It's easy to see the kind of job Fitz ends up getting, but how he gets that, why he gets it, what he does as an assassin, I don't want to talk too much about because I don't really want to give anything away. But, so, at this point, let's get into my review. If you haven't watched my How I Rate Books video, now's your chance. From here on out, this is going to be the way I format my reviews, just because if we're being honest, my reviews have been really chaotic up until now. So, first category, characters. I gave this a 9 out of 10 for the full series. I think Fitz, the main character, is absolutely fantastic. I think he's well-rounded, I think his motivations are clear, I think he shows good growth throughout the series. But he's kind of the only one that's super rounded that way. And I think this is for a very good reason, though. It's a single perspective story. We get the entire story told through Fitz's perspective. And the way he sees these people is a little one-dimensional. His mentor is seen as this infallible, I don't want to say godlike being, but this infallible, strong, manly man. His enemies are seen as evil and conniving. His love interest is perfect and can do no wrong. But that's his perspective on it, and I think it's very clear that this isn't an accurate depiction of these characters, but it's the way Fitz sees them. There is one thing, in my opinion, is that the villain was too one-dimensional for my taste. He was just kind of a little mustache twirly, selfish. It wasn't the kind of villain I enjoy. Moving on to plot, I gave it an 8 out of 10 for plot. The story is really good. Overall, this series was slow. Not because nothing happens, it's just that the pacing kind of sometimes got strange. There'd be a couple really big, crazy moments, and then it would slow down and stretch out for a while as we just see Fitz kind of living his life. This, in some ways, makes it a little bit erratic, but in other ways kind of makes it feel a little more realistic. You have those big momentous moments, and then you have months or years of nothing, and it felt real. The other thing is that the plot of these books was relatively very political. I mean, it makes sense for a story about the bastard son of the king in waiting to have these big political ramifications. This, I don't normally like. I don't like big, heavy political plot lines in my fantasy. So, in theory, it shouldn't have worked, but it really did. I really liked it. Of course, the third book kind of gets away from that a little bit, and I ended up liking the third book even more for that. But if you like political fantasy, you're gonna love it. If you don't like political fantasy, give it a shot anyway, because it works out surprisingly well. Next up, the setting and the world building. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because I'm really simple when it comes to my world building. does it feel real, and Robin Hobb makes it feel real. She gives details about the history of the world. She gives details about the kind of magics that are in this world and how the real world people interact and think about the magic. A lot of this might be because the last book expands the world a lot, and I might be letting that color the rest of the series more than maybe it should. But if I'm taking the series as a whole, it's a fair analysis. I also think Robin Hobb does a really good job of narrowing in on a specific part of the world so that that part feels real and tangible, rather than trying to build an entire universe and it ending up falling apart because of that. Of course, given that the realm of the Elderling is supposed to follow people in other parts of the world, clearly she has plans for the rest of the world that we didn't see yet. General Peel, I give it an 8. This is the most subjective, least talk-aboutable section. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So, there you go. Style, I give it a 9 out of 10. I love Robin Hobb's writing style. I know it took me a long time to read these books, but like, it's because I was really enjoying being immersed in the way Robin Hobb writes. It's a style that I think I would describe it as elegant. It's fancy, but not over the top. It's somehow flowery, but without ever saying anything more than it has to, and it's kind of amazing. Originality, I give it a 9. This point will get, the category of originality will get better as I learn more and more fantasy, but to me this was a really unique storyline. I've read assassin fantasy before and there were some common tropes there, but it all kind of went in a different direction than I was expecting. Really, everything that I was seeing that was already familiar to me was done in a really creative and interesting and even new way, so I thought it was original. Finally, the ending. I gave the ending an 8 out of 10, so obviously this is a hard one to talk about without spoilers. I'm going to keep it very simple and vague, but if you don't want any chance of... If you're one of those people that doesn't want to know anything about the ending, go ahead. There are timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to my concluding thoughts. I thought the ending was really, really good, but a little bit too happy for the kind of story that had been told up until that point. I wouldn't say it's a happily ever after. I wouldn't say it's a happy ending. It was bittersweet at best, but for my taste, everything just kind of wrapped up a little bit too nicely. So that's why I got an 8 out of 10, but an 8's still a really, really good score. So throwing that in, overall the Farseer trilogy gets an 8.75 out of 10. I really like it, and Robin Hobb may honestly be one of my new favorite authors. I cannot wait to dive into the rest of the Elderling books. I've heard that Ship of Magic and this, the Live Ship Traders, that's the second trilogy, is even better. So I'm really excited to read the rest of them. And if you haven't read these yet, I'd really recommend them. They're a good foray into kind of classic fantasy and just really, really enjoyable books. Okay, bye.